The line of head joined to the line of life. The position of this line indicates in all cases a highly sensitive disposition, which inclines towards the side of caution and also lacks self confidence. Even the cleverest people with this sign seem to rein themselves in too tightly and always inclined to undervalue their capabilities and talents. When with the same indication the line is also sloping slightly downwards, the sensitiveness is still more increased. This form is largely found on the hand of the artist, painter, and those who, even in other walks of life, have the sensitive, artistic temperament, even though it may not have been developed to a larger extent. If, on the contrary, the line of the head joined to the line of the life runs straight out across the hand towards the mental mount of Mars, the subject, though still extremely sensitive, has got greater courage of his opinions. Such people do not get credit for being highly sensitive, as do the other people with the line sloping downwards toward the amount of imagination. The straighter the headline is found, the subject can be more relied on to carry out his determination, and often these highly sensitive and even nervous people are found doing very determined work in connection with some battle for principle or for right which they believe in or which they believe that it's their moral duty to carry out. If this class of line of head, however, go very far across the hand and straight on the mental mount of Mars, it indicates an extremely strong will determined person who has the power to hide his sensitiveness and nervousness and stake everything for what he believes his duty to carry out. The difference in the observation of these two distinct classes of the individuals, namely those with the line of head joined but sloping and the line of the head joined and straight across the hand, has caused many exponents of this study to make great mistakes in the judgment of their subject. When, as is very often the case, the line of head is forked, also when joined and when these forked lines are equal to one another, especially in cases where the line of head is joined to the line of life, showing the sensitive temperament, this forked mark often indicates a certain want of decision. The subject is inclined to balance too much between the two qualities of brain, the practical and the imaginative. As to what they should do for the best, in such cases it is always wise to advise the subject to act accordingly to first impulse, either in dealing with practical or imaginative things. By doing so, they should not waver or vacillate by too much reasoning over the question or endeavoring to see both sides of it at once. When the sloping line of head a gentle curve downwards towards the mount of moon, distinct control over the imagination is indicated. The student will then know the subject simply uses his imagination when he wishes to do so instead of being controlled by it. But the contrary is the case when the line bends too far from this mount. In this case, the subject is the slave of his imagination and generally does erratic and peculiar things or can only work in moods of the moment. People of this later class seldom, if ever, produce the great results in the world of art or imagination, as do those who have the line simply curving downwards into the mount. When the line of head bends completely down and turns with a curve, as it were, under the base of Mount of Luna, the tendency is to extreme morbid imaginings and such extreme sensitiveness that people on whose hands it is found generally separate themselves from the rest of their fellows and either retire from the world altogether and live a solitary life or else make their exit by the gate of suicide. The latter is, in fact, generally the ending of such lives. Their extreme sensitiveness evidently renders life for them almost unbearable. But this formation must not be confounded with the line of head curving downwards through the upper part of the mount. In this latter case, it can be even descend as far down as wrist itself, and unless it has an island or star at the end of the line, there is no danger of suicide. In all such cases, however, there is extreme imagination, extreme sensibility, and a tendency of melancholy and morbidness. But there is no indication of the brain breaking down under strain as there is in the other case of what is known as the distinct tendency for self murder.